Okay, last few minutes, I would like to address Philippines' role in Bible prophecy, because I really believe that you need to know that. We already acknowledged the fact the Bible prophecy is all about what? It's about the Messiah. From Genesis 3:15, it's about the Messiah. And we know that the whole idea is the seed of the woman. Remember that? The seed of the woman. Good. What happened? Somebody sneezed? Major sneeze? I missed that. Well, because I'm dealing with my own. Anyway, so, can you find Philippines in the Bible, the name Philippines? No, come on, Philippines. Oh my, that is a new low. Gee, Philippines is Philippines, and it's somewhere else. The Philippines, ladies and gentlemen, the Philippines, we all know that the Philippines, as Philippines, is not mentioned in the Bible in that name. And why? It's because this is a modern name. Not all the names in the Bible are the modern names, of course. Where did you get your name, by the way? The Spanish king, King Philip II. Yes. In fact, it started with the fact that only the islands of Leyte and Samar originally were called Filipinas. But after then, at that time, Philip was not yet a king, he was a prince. But later on, the name Las Islas Filipinas would be used to cover the entire group of the archipelago of more than 7,000 islands. But it started with Samar and Leyte, you say? Leyte. They were the original islands who received that name. Anyone here from Samar? Anyone here from Leyte? Wow, you're the original. Well, let me tell you that in the Spanish maps, before they came, I hear myself somewhere. It's the FBI? Okay. In the Spanish maps that led the explorers to the islands, the name was Ophir. Did you know that? How many of you knew that? The biblical name Ophir appears in Spanish maps describing the Philippines. Ophir. Ophir appears, by the way, both in Genesis, the name of a verse, and all the way in the books of the prophets, as a place of great source of gold. Wow. Yes. So it starts from there. Also, by the way, both in Isaiah 24 and Isaiah 42, there's a beautiful description of how the name of the Lord will be praised even in the islands. It says, why did I just say it so to kill your curiosity? But that's not what I wanted to talk about. I just want to get it out of your system because you're so eager to hear. Where are you? So it says that when it says in the Hebrew, at least in the Hebrew, when it shall be thus in the midst of the land among the people, it shall be like the shaking of the olive tree, like the gleaning of grapes when the vintage is done. And they shall lift up their voice, and they shall sing for the majesty of the Lord. They shall cry aloud from the sea. Therefore glorify the Lord in the dawning light, the name of the Lord God of Israel in the coastlands, and in the Hebrew, in the islands of the sea. Some people say it could be the Philippines. I can imagine that. I think that there's a good chance that even the lost tribes of Israel ended up, at least some of them here. I believe that a lot of you might be surprised to find out you have Jewish blood if you just took DNA tests. But I can tell you that the reason why I believe the Philippines played a significant role in Bible prophecy is if we understand what Bible prophecy is all about, if we understand it talks about the Messiah, and he talked about the King of Israel, and he talked about coming first to Israel, and he talked about their rejection was your acceptance, and he talked about his return to Jerusalem, his return to Israel. This all means that the Jewish people must survive, and the land of Israel must be back in their hands, and the city of Jerusalem must be restored back to their hands. That's what it means. And you may take it for granted, but up until 70 years ago, it wasn't anything that you would think that is possible. Ladies and gentlemen, we were people who were massacred not by religious fanatics. We were massacred by people who called themselves enlightened ones, by people of the highest education, people of the highest standards of living, people of the European elite. We were not the burden on their economy, we were their economy. And yet, we were led to the slaughter.